Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're going to be working in here a bit and making some oatmeal raisin cookies, and we're probably also going to make some cinnamon raisin bread, which I'm very excited to make. Starting with the oatmeal raisin cookies, I have 1 cup of softened butter going into my stand mixer. You just want to beat that for about 30 seconds. And then we're going to add 1 cup, let me lower this, 1 cup of packed brown sugar and a 1/2 cup of white sugar. And now we're going to beat this until light and fluffy. Scraping down the sides when needed. I'm going to call that good. I have 1 extra large egg here. These are for my chickens. You're going to want to add 2 eggs. And then I just have 1 small egg from a new layer. Ideally I'd use 2 large, but that's what I have, so this is what I'm using. Put those in. You're going to want to add 1½ teaspoons of vanilla extract. We need to get going on our flour mixture, and my husband loves to store it right up there, so I'm going to show you how I get it down. I see that getting a little trickier in the next couple of months. Alright, so now we're going to add 1 3/4 cup of flour to a separate bowl. This is a 1/4 cup measure, so I'm going to do this. Actually, I should use my oven. I'm going to use this 3 times. Alright, and in this little cup here I have 2 teaspoons of tapioca flour. You can use cornstarch. I have this, so I wanted to use this. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, ground cinnamon, and 3/4 teaspoon of sea salt. We're just going to mix that all in with our flour mixture here. Make sure that that's well mixed together, evenly distributed. Good. Now I'm going to change out my beater. Don't mind the dishes in the background, I will be getting to those in a little bit. Just wanting to get our recipe started here. Do those while they're baking. Limited time without the kiddos here, so my husband took them to the grocery store. I'm trying to fully take advantage of that for video time. Alright, so now I'm going to get this out. We're going to slowly add our flour mixture. just going to stir those in. This is looking lovely. I also just got a request from my husband. He just called. He wants me to make some Rice Krispie treats again. They came out so good last time. So, might be making that in this video as well. It's right after Christmas, and this is the time where I get super excited to start my seeds indoors. And I can't wait to bring you guys along on that. Let me know in the comments if you like those types of videos. I just got some stuff to start my seeds with, so very excited. Just gotta get a bunch of seeds now. Alright, I have 3 cups of rolled oats, I believe they are. Yes, rolled oats. Pre-measure them out. Just gonna scrape down the sides here a little bit. Try to do it so you can see what I'm doing here. Like a third of it at a time. I don't know if it matters. Probably doesn't. And I know it's out after Christmas now, but I was 3 recipes short on my 25 recipes till Christmas, so this is today's part of that. I would have gotten them all done if I didn't get sick. But it's okay, life happens. I apologize. At this point, we're also going to be adding 1.5 cups of raisins. This is a 1/2 cup measure, so I'm going to use 3 of these. I'm going to mix this up, and then we are going to cover this with plastic wrap and let it rest in the fridge for, I'm going to do 30 minutes. The minimum is 30 minutes. Or you can leave it in the fridge for up to 3 days if you don't want to make them just yet. You could always, which is what I'm going to do with some of these, mix them all up now, roll them into dough balls, and then put them in a freezer safe bag or container. And then you can just cook them up fresh whenever you want. Seems like it's going to make a pretty big batch, so you could always do that with whatever extra that you don't think your family or whoever you're gifting these to are going to eat. Where we're at. I'm going to mix it up a little bit more, but bring it back in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and transfer this into a separate bowl to chill because I need to use my stand mixer for our bread recipe we're going to be doing. Alright, let's get our plastic wrap. I'm actually out of plastic wrap, so I'm going to use this towel. Just going to push it down a little bit so it doesn't touch the towel. Okay. I'm going to get our bowl all washed out, our area all cleaned up, and then we're going to work on our next recipe. Alright, now we're going to get started on our cinnamon raisin bread. We have 1 cup of milk here. We want to bring this up to just start to bubble. And then we're going to take it off the heat. Just need that to be warmed. And you're going to want to do this in a small saucepan. The recipe makes 3 loaves. I cut that down to just 2 loaves, so I'm just going to make 2 loaves here. You can make 1, whatever you want. So 1 cup of milk is for 2 loaves. In the meantime, I'm going to get my measuring cup. We're going to rinse this out. We're going to add 2/3 of a cup of water. It needs to be 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit so we can activate our yeast. Alright, our milk is warmed up, so I'm going to remove that from the heat. And into the bowl of my stand mixer, I'm going to add our 2/3 of a cup of warm water. We're going to add our yeast. To that, I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of my yeast. I like to keep my yeast in the freezer to keep it fresh. 1, 2, 3. A little mix. We're going to let this sit for 10 minutes until it gets a little bubbly, frothy. Alright, our yeast is getting all frothy. So now we're going to add our other ingredients. I'm going to add 1/3 of a cup of white sugar, 5 1/3 of a tablespoon of butter, 2/3 a teaspoon of salt, and 2/3 of a cup of raisins, which is just about all I have here. So I'm just going to add the rest in. I also want to add 2 eggs. Once again, I'm going to do 1 jumbo egg, extra large, whatever you want to call it. And 1 small egg. Ooh. We're going to give that a mix, and then we're going to add our milk. Make sure your milk is cooled down to lukewarm. You don't want to cook your eggs. My milk is now lukewarm, so I'm going to add that in. Add it slowly so we can temper the eggs. I don't think it's warm enough at this point to cook them at all, but we'll see. Just go slow, anyways. Alright, now at this point I'm going to add this to my KitchenAid because I have it, so why not use it? I'm going to add 5 1/3 of a cup of all-purpose flour, adding in slowly. There's my first cup. 5. One-third. Alright, this is all done kneading. I'm going to flour my countertop here. Throw the dough on there for a minute. And then I'm going to wash this bowl out. Butter it up good, and then we're going to put our milk back in here. There you go, that lightly floured countertop. Roll this out onto it. my thing here. I washed and buttered my bowl. Now I'm gonna add my dough back in there. We're gonna roll it around in there a little bit so it gets coated with that butter as much as I can. Right, and then we're gonna cover it with a towel. So I'm gonna cover this with a warm, damp cloth, and we're gonna let this rise for an hour and a half until doubled in size in a warm area. All right, so while my bread is rising over there, I took this time to roll out my dough balls. This is what I'm baking up now, so I can show you what it looks like, and my kids, my husband and myself will try those. And then these, I'm gonna freeze and gift these. And these I'm gonna bake up fresh for tomorrow because we're going over to my in-laws, and so they can enjoy some cookies.
Chicken's in carrots, right?
Put those in for about 12 minutes. I baked these at 375 for 12 minutes, and they are now done. Nice and puffy. The dough has risen, so I'm going to lightly flour my countertop here. Our dough has doubled in size. It's nice and warm. We're gonna roll this out so it's about 1/2 inch. Take some of this extra flour, rub it on my rolling pin. We're gonna want a rectangle. And this is both doughs. We're gonna cut it after we roll them up. I just use this for the cinnamon. I'm just gonna take 2 tablespoons of milk. We're gonna rub this all in on the dough to moisten it. You're gonna use your hands for this. I'm gonna rub my hands around the edges too, just to make sure that's moist as well. Now I have 3 tablespoons of cinnamon and 1 cup of sugar. We're gonna mix this together and then we're gonna sprinkle it on top. I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle this as evenly as I can all over the top. Getting as close to the edges as I can too. This is looking and smelling so good already. I think it's the cinnamon sugar that's making it smell so good, obviously, but can't wait to try it. Alright, so now we're gonna roll it long ways. Just should have come out a little bit further here, but it's okay. We're gonna roll it tightly as we can, so we can get some nice swirls in there. Kind of like you would a cinnamon roll. This dough is a little moist, so it kind of wants to stick to my fingers. It's hard to like keep it in its place. Maybe if I flour my fingers. Right, flouring your fingers definitely helps, so I recommend that to make this recipe. Do is cut our dough in half. Go with about right here. We're going to tuck in our edges, our end pieces here. Kind of like pinch them in. Good swirl. And then we're gonna also want to tuck in this bottom, pinch this bottom piece in there. Take this one. This is one of our greased, it's buttered. I buttered the pan. And we're gonna let this rise again for an hour. Other one over here going, making some cinnamon. I have my Pullman pan here. This is brand new. I've never used this before. Got it for Christmas. I'm super excited to test it out. Which is the main reason why I'm making this today. Put this in here. And this is also buttered. Our loaves have doubled in size, so I'm going to get these into our preheated oven that's at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And they're going to cook for about 45 minutes. We'll check on them at that point. I put my lid on my Pullman pan, and this should make a nice square loaf for us. Excited to see how that turns out. I wasn't sure if this was necessary, but I did grease the top of my Pullman pan as well, so it won't stick to the top. Alright, see you in 45 minutes. Our bread should be done now. This sounds very hot, baby. This will sound hollow when you tap it. This one is. Take that. One in the Pullman pan came out a lot later. It feels softer too. So hopefully it's fully cooked. I've never cooked with this one before, so I knew it was going to be iffy. So I'm going to melt some butter on top. I'm going to finish doing that with the rest, but I'll show you this one too. Now I'm going to cover these up and let them sit for 20 minutes. Then after 20 minutes is up, we're going to lay them on their side, let them fully cool. I'm not going to fully seal this. Just going to lay it over top. And then we'll slice into them. You want to make sure it's fully cool before you slice into it, otherwise it can smush down and get a little doughy inside, and we don't want that. Alright, they have rested for over 20 minutes now. Now we're going to turn them on their sides. And then we're going to pop them out. I grab a knife to help me with this. They are still a bit hot. cool. Looking good. It's nice and soft too. This one, oh, this one came out super easy. That looks delicious. All that cinnamon rolling out of the bottom. Wasn't sure if this was going to be completely done. I was a little nervous about this one because it was a little bit lighter, which I should expect because this one had a lid on top of it. But it's a lot softer too. But it definitely looks like it's done if you look at the bottom and the sides. It's delicious. I'm going to flip this back on its side. And I'm going to cover these and let these rest for the night. It's getting kind of late now. I was going to cut into them now for you, but they still need to cool down for quite a bit of time, probably like at least another 20-30 minutes, and I don't feel like staying up that long, so we will get these. I will cut these up tomorrow and show you how they look in the morning. Alright, we have our cinnamon raisin bread here that we baked up last night. It's the next day, and we were going to cut into it to see how it does. I do have a, I think it's like a bamboo bread slicer, like a hold your bread for you, and then you can slice the perfect cuts, but I couldn't find it for this video, so we're gonna go without it. See if I can do an okay job. Should probably do this on a cutting board. The end piece. I'm excited to see what the middle looks like. Let me get my cutting board out. So I'll cut up our countertop. What we're gonna do with this, my kids love cinnamon raisin bread, so we're gonna just toast these up, put some butter on it. Sometimes I like to add a little bit of brown sugar. Yeah, they're gonna love these. That looks absolutely perfect. Look at that. It looks like a heart on the back. That's so cute. I'm getting pretty good sized slices here too. And this is the bread that we did in the Pullman loaf pan. I'm always always notice about how the middle looks like, because that's how you know if it's fully done or not. It looks like it's, oh, look at that. We're basically at the middle now and it's fully cooked there, so let's see. And you're going to want to use a serrated knife for this. It'll cut through a lot smoother and not smush your bread. So one of these loaves are going to be for my family. The other one I'm going to be gifting today. So it's fully cooked through. I'm going to slice that one up too, this way they can just pull out a slice of bread, whatever they like, instead of having to cut it whenever they need it. Just want to show you again like how perfect these came out. I'm so happy about that. This was just my first attempt at the homemade pan too, so. And only my second time making cinnamon raisin bread. I have made white bread a handful of times over the years, and I think I perfected that the way that we like it too, so we're gonna get working on that very shortly. I got this one all bagged up and it looks really good. This might be the one that I actually gift because it looks really pretty. We'll see how the other one turns out. Let's start cutting this up. This one looks pretty good as well. It's got a little bit of an air hole there. That's okay. And that's the middle, looking really good. I'm going to show you what we're working on in the meantime. I have some chewy molasses cookies I just took out of the oven, and some oatmeal raisin cookies that are also going to be gifted today. I have a few more to go in the oven. I'm also gifting those rainbow cookies that I made. Pop those in the freezer, and we're going to be bringing those over today too. We got these all wrapped up and ready to go. I'm still unsure of which one we're going to gift because they both look great, so I'll let my husband pick. And I'm going to show you what everything looks like all wrapped up together. Here's our Italian rainbow cookies I'm gifting today. Still looking beautiful even after being frozen and thawed. And I also forgot that I did run out of saran wrap, so I'm going to be probably putting them in this bag. It's not going to look as pretty, but that's okay. Saran wrap isn't that pretty either. To wrap the video up, I want to show you what we ended up with. We have a little gift basket here. I have some cranberry juice that we made earlier in a previous video, like last month. I have some oatmeal raisin cookies we just picked up, some chewy molasses cookies, fresh loaf of cinnamon raisin bread that we did last night. There's a little gift here. We have some frozen cookie dough balls here, so they can just pop these in the oven whenever they'd like to have fresh cookies, and our rainbow cookies. And that's all. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a blessed day.